Seeing that we have a quorum, I just want to say this is Commissioner Henry, and I just want to afternoon to everyone, and I would like to read this statement, and then we'll follow our regular format for our meeting today. A special call meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority of Champaign virtual meeting pursuant to Executive Order 20-07 signed by Governor Pritzker and guidance provided by legal counsel. The Housing Authority of Champaign County may conduct all or portions of this meeting by use of telephonic or electronic means without a physical quorum present in the boardroom. Public access to this meeting is available as follows. Please join our meeting from your computer, tablet, or smartphone. This is Thursday, April 23rd, 2020, and it's 3:02 p.m. I will follow the regular agenda outline. So the first order of business is to call the order and roll call.
Commissioner Adair, Commissioner Turnbull,
Present.
Commissioner Obuchowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Here.
Vice Chair Parks,
Present.
Commissioner Chenoweth, Commissioner Rose.
Present.
One thing that we'll ask, until it's time or your opportunity to talk, please keep your mic muted. We're getting a little background noise. And also, Ashley, please make a note that Commissioner Chenoweth did call and ask to be excused from this meeting.
Okay.
I'd also like to say that I acknowledge Commissioner Chenoweth through an email and wish her the best to get healthy as soon as possible. Item number 2, approval of the agenda. I'd like to have a motion for approval of the agenda.
I put a motion to approve of the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion that to approve the agenda, and it's been properly seconded. May I have roll call, please?
Commissioner Turnbull,
Present.
Commissioner Obuchowski,
Yes.
Chairman Henry,
Yes.
Vice Chair Parks,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose.
Yes.
Okay, next we have item number 3. Before we go into public comments on non-agenda items only, Attorney Hanson, could you please read your statement?
Sure. As we get into the public comments, obviously, if you have a public comment, whether it's now for agenda items or later on in the agenda for non-agenda items. So regardless if you have public comments, go ahead and I believe you can actually send a note to Jean, who's working the computers, who's in charge of this. But if you could state your name and if you have a comment and state your name, obviously keep it to 3 minutes or less. And that way we can kind of go through in an orderly fashion. But other than the public comments, those are the only times when the public is invited to speak. So just wanted to make sure we were all good with that. And it's an odd situation here that we're working with, but just please state your name and let us know. And like I said, if you do have some comments, maybe you can send a note online or let us know. So given that, are there any public comment? Does anyone have any public comments on agenda items only?
Eric, in the top right-hand corner, it's a little box. It's a chat box in between the participants and the settings. That's where individuals can make can put say that they have public comment. It's called a chat area. If you go to your mouse and you go on it, they call it a chat. So that's where you can put your name and information in and say you had a public comment. So
Perfect.
Okay, thank you very much, Attorney Hanson, for those timely comments, and that'll keep our meeting going along quite smoothly. Moving, okay, are there any public comments at this time? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. No public comments on the agenda items at this time, so we will move to item number 4, approval of the minutes, the regular meeting minutes from February 27, 2020.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting for February 27, 2020.
I'd like to make a correction to the minutes, if possible.
Okay,
It indicates that Commissioner Rose and Commissioner Obachowski were both present and absent, and I believe we're both absent and not present as well.
okay, that must have been a typo. Can that be corrected, please? To reflect Commissioner Rose's comments onto
Yes.
the minutes.
So let me change my motion.
Thank you.
I'd like to move that we accept the minutes, approve the minutes that with the necessary correction for our regular meeting on February 27, 2020.
Okay.
Second,
Okay, it's been properly moved and second with those corrections. Can we have roll call?
Commissioner Turnbull,
Yes.
Commissioner Obachowski,
Yes.
Chairman Henry,
Yes.
Vice Chair Parks,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose.
yes.
Okay, the minutes from February 27, 2020 with those corrections has been approved. Moving quite right along, item number 5 under new business, we have, I think, 8 resolutions to approve. We'll start out with resolution 2020-09, approval of 2020 HAT operating budget.
yes. So that's a resolution each housing authority does on an annual basis. We have had a delay. As you know, we dealt with a whole lot at the beginning of this year, and so we currently have our operating budget to be approved at this month's board meeting. Miguel, I don't know if there's anything
Go ahead.
to add to it. We did include our budget for 2020 along with the budget comparisons from 2020 versus 2019 in the packet for Commissioner's review.
Is there any questions? Any more questions?
Yes, I have one question. This is Commissioner Obachowski. I just have one question about the MTW activities on the operational budget for 2020 there. It's listed as $194,000 for the program evaluation. And I can't remember exactly which month it was. I believe it was shortly before the holidays that I believe that we had discontinued that contract. And I was just hoping you could give me a little bit of background. If that was just the replacement sort of work on that project or what that was in regards to.
I didn't really get it clear. If everyone would mute their mic and only a person that's speaking have their mic unmuted, it's a lot of background, and so I apologize. I didn't hear that.
I'll repeat myself, I'm sorry. So under the MTW activities, the MTW program evaluation budget line for $194,000. I was just wondering if that was, I know that we had discontinued our contract with the University of Illinois for those evaluation activities, and I just wanted to double check and see what this was in regards to.
Miguel or Tiffany, you want to answer that? I know some of that money, in our MTW program, we have initiatives for our clients in terms of performance measures. And so some of that money, I believe, is related to that. Along with, we have a study that we take that takes place between two other housing authorities. Now, even though the university is not leading our evaluation, we still doing our internal evaluation.
Okay.
For clients. We still have to make our reports to HUD and everything like that related to our MPW plan.
Okay, thank you. That was my only question.
If there's no other questions, sir, you can ask for a motion, or first and second for approval.
Can we get a motion for approval for 2020-09, approval of the 2020 Act operating budget?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Can we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Turnbull?
Probably
Commissioner,
still on mute. Oh, go ahead.
Commissioner Turnbull?
Yes.
Commissioner Obuchowski?
Yes.
Chairman Henry?
Yes.
Vice Chair Parks?
Yes.
Commissioner Rose?
Yes.
It's been properly moved and second and passed. We'll move to item number 2. Resolution 2020-10, approval of property budget.
So again, that's part of our annual activities where we decide to approve our various budgets for each one of our programs. That budget is for and related to our RAD properties. For let me see, the Washington Square, Steer, Yeoman, Columbia Place, Hayes Homes. So that's our property operating budget for the year 2020.
Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, can we get a motion to approve and a
Motion
second?
approved. Motion to approve.
Can we
Second.
get a second?
2020.
Okay. Did I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been properly moved and second to approve the 2020-10 approval of the property budget. We have roll call.
Commissioner Turnbull?
Yes.
Commissioner Obuchowski?
Sorry, yes.
Chairman Henry?
Yes.
Vice Chair Parks?
Yes.
Commissioner Rose?
Yes.
Moving to our next resolution, resolution 2020-11, section 17, complaints and appeals administrative plan. Is there any discussion?
I wanted to just make a couple comments if I can, sir, related to that.
Yes, sir.
So in years past, what we did is we had a contract with an individual housing authority outside of our county that handled items, concerns, and complaints. And so we have what we want to do is bring that in-house because it is a number of remedies that individuals have if they don't agree with our organization's decision around any policy decisions, whether it's termination or removal from the waiting list. And so this is to update that. Again, it was a contract. We had a contract with an outside organization that was in a couple counties away that was making these reviews for us. And, in most cases, housing authorities do their internal review based on steps. For example, if a staff person make a decision in a housing choice voucher program, the first level review in most cases would be that department supervisor. If they don't agree with that, then they go to another step. And depending on the decision thereafter, they may, file administrative review with the, courthouse to get more remedies from it. So we have a process in place, and we just want, that was one of the goals that we had when I came in as the CEO, to, bring it in-house and not, have to pay an outside contractor to handle our reviews or complaints and stuff.
Okay, you've heard the explanation on that resolution. Can we have a motion for approval?
I have a question.
Question.
The title of the resolution in our packet was approval of the Section 10 Complaints and Appeals Administrative Plan. Should that be Section 17?
Let's see, we're on number 3, so I have 2020-11, Section 17, Complaints and Appeals of Administrative Plan.
Yeah,
I think, Commissioner Rose, I think the 10 is a typo because the document itself is Section 17 of the.
Yeah, I just think there's a typo there. That's all.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, mine says 17, so okay, we make sure that we reflect that.
Okay.
Yes. Are you talking about in an actual resolution, sir, or on not on the agenda, but in the actual resolution?
On the resolution.
Okay, yes, we'll correct that.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Rose, for pointing that out. That's very important. Appreciate that. Can we have do we have a motion on the floor?
I'll move approval of resolution 2020-11.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second to approve the resolution 2020-11, Section 17, Complaints and Appeals Administrative Plans with those changes. Roll call.
Commissioner Turnbull,
Yes.
Commissioner Obuchowski,
Yes.
Chairman Henry,
Yes.
Vice Chair Parks,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose.
Yes.
Approved. Going on to the next resolution, 2020-12, authorizing the formation of the Housing Authority of Champaign County Youth Build Not-for-Profit Corporation. Could you elaborate just a few minutes, Mr. Northern?
Yes. This come about, as you know, in January, we received the $1.5 million Youth Build grant. And in order to continually keep our finances and our operations separate, and then we bring major programs within our organization, we house them under a not-for-profit. And as always, our Board of Commissioners, our Housing Authority Board of Commissioners, is the board. For the not-for-profit, what we usually have is an advisory board. And that's a group of individuals throughout the community that may have a vested interest in that organization's success as an advisory board. All final and major decisions related to activities fall with our Housing Authority Board, as we have for our other not-for-profits. In terms of exact, same way we kind of have it lined up for our other not-for-profits. But this is for administrative purposes, IRS purposes, and to keep our funding and finances separate and operate multiple programs.
Can we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to approve resolution 2020-12, authorizing the formation of the Housing Authority Champaign County Youth Not-for-Profit Corporation. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Turnbull,
Yes.
Commissioner Obuchowski,
Yes.
Chairman Henry,
Yes.
Vice Chair Parks,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose.
Yes.
Thank you. The next resolution is 2020-13, transfer of 607 East Vine Street, Champaign, Illinois, East Columbia, Champaign, Illinois, 409 West Beardsley, Champaign, Illinois, 411 East Vine, Champaign, Illinois, 1106 North 6th Street, Champaign, Illinois. 503 East Beardsley, Champaign, Illinois. 508 East Eureka, Champaign, Illinois. 403 East Beardsley and Champaign, Illinois. From the ownership of the Housing Authority of Champaign County to Maple Grove Development Corporation 1. Mr. Northern, you want to give us a brief explanation on that one?
Yes, that transfers is related to, originally, the Housing Authority was approved by the Department of Housing and Urban Development to demolish all those properties. Those were our traditional scattered, nice cat, Rebecca. Those are our traditional scattered site units that were deemed not necessary to rehab as related to our program. We had budgeted close to $300,000 to demolish and remove, and then we have to maintain those properties. Change of direction came when we saw it was an opportunity to utilize some of those properties for additional programs like reentry. We utilized a couple of those properties that the board already had approved to be removed to go into auction for our not-for-profit, which I can say one of those homes has been successfully rehabbed and is about to be put back on the affordable housing market. So we saved at least one unit so far. There's another one that's in Fruition, close to being ready also, that's being put back on when the Housing Authority chose not to invest in them. So moving them to the Maple Grove Development Corporation, our not-for-profit, we can continue those partnerships with organizations like Carl Hospital, like the 2 reentry programs and other organizations that can come in and help rehab those properties and utilize them for housing purposes throughout our community.
Okay, thank you for that fine explanation and clarification. May we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion for approval from Reverend Parks, Commissioner Parks. Do we have a second?
Second.
Oh,
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second. May we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Turnbull,
Yes.
Commissioner Obachowski,
yes.
Chairman Henry,
Yes.
Vice Chair Parks,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose. Commissioner Rose,
Yep, sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. Okay, moving to the next resolution, number 6, 2020-14, approval of Main Street Lofts Housing Project. Quick explanation, elaboration from Mr. Northern, please. Mr. Northern. I think we have some technical difficulties.
I think you're muted, David. And we're not hearing you, so I wonder if there's a problem.
I was actually going to find an actual explanation for some of the funding, but again, I apologize about that error. So the Main Street Lofts is a permanent supportive housing development in West Chicago. As you know, we've been really doing a lot of partnerships in and throughout the county and throughout our state in order to provide partnerships and resources. In this particular development, it's 24 units similar to our Urbana property. But our partnership would include is 10% ownership, and we will provide, our investment will be 12 project-based vouchers, which we will manage and receive. We will manage the property along with receiving admin fees for that. And I think the total we was looking at receiving, I think it was about, and excuse me, I'm losing my train of thought. I couldn't find my paperwork. About close to $40,000 a year for our management, our investment interest for those 12 units. that we're providing to help individuals with special needs. Now, and I know we had the conversation in the past about why would we invest outside our county, but it's really important that we understand that when we take the lead in those type of efforts, we get more in return. Not only are we getting income in return, as you can recall, we also had to approve 50 new vouchers coming to Champaign County from Ford County. Some of those reasons why, when there's additional resources out there, they know our housing authority is willing to take an extra effort and help others also, so they're willing to provide more to us. So actually, if you look at it, as we said before, we're receiving 50 new vouchers in Champaign County and utilize how we see fit, are already doing those investments. We're working with IDA on a number of other deals that's possible. Part of that, IDA gave us the reentry grant, which is more vouchers here in our county. And so I request that the board make that approval, and we will be negotiating with the owner so that we can have our certified management agreement. But as right now, we're receiving about $8,000 a year for interest in the property, $7-something thousand for our management fee, and another $8,000 or $9,000 for our admin fees for utilizing those vouchers.
David, I had a question.
Yes, sir.
Were we approached by someone for this, or did we reach out to IDA? Do you know how we got involved in this project?
Yes, they came to us about this project, not IDA per se, but IDA had recommended that the partners within that project reach out to the housing authority Champaign County to see who was interested in it. They know that we move in that particular direction. One, we just recently received a permanent supportive housing ourselves that we're working on, along with our other outside. So we were approached about it. We was able to successfully negotiate ownership in it. Originally, they didn't want to give us no ownership, so that would have been less. So we were able to negotiate some ownership. And when we ran the numbers, we saw that it made a smart business sense, along with helping our image with IDA to continue our progress that we've been able to make as a smaller housing authority in the state.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rose, for having Mr. Northern point that out. I think that's crucial. May we have a motion for approval?
I motion to approve it.
Second? Did I hear a second?
Yes, second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Turnbull,
Yes.
Commissioner Obachowski,
Yes.
Chairman Henry,
Yes.
Vice Chair Parks,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose.
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 7, 2020-15, approval of amendments to attachment C of the standard MTW agreement.
I'm gonna ask if Tiffany, would you mind explaining this one for us, please?
The MTW agreements allowed for housing authorities who are part of the MTW program not to have a third-party source complete their inspections for their project-based vouchers. When the OIG was going through the Office of Internal General, they determined that there was an audit finding. So HUD and the OIG disagreed with this. And so due to that inquiry from the OIG, excuse me, I'm so sorry. HUD has determined that they have requested that all MTW agencies to go in and take a look and do an amendment to their original agreement. And basically that agreement just states that MTW agencies are allowed to do their own inspections for their project-based program, whereas other housing authorities don't have that flexibility.
Now, just to add what Tiffany provided, and thank you, Tiffany, you did a good job at explaining that. Earlier this year, you know that we were pretty aggressive in terms of working with our clients and community partners. We were able to create an opportunity for, I think, 3 to 4 of our clients to be trained, certified, and become inspectors to help us out with that third-party inspections. Now, just because we are asking for this amendment to be approved, attachment C, that does not mean we won't utilize those inspection companies that we help create in terms of our residents. We just want to make sure that we added that extra layer of flexibility just in case something fell short, that we could take care of it without running again to a company far out of town.
Thank you, Ms. Tiffany, for clarifying that up. May we have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. May we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Turnbull,
Yes.
Commissioner Obuchowski,
Yes.
Chairman Henry,
Yes.
Vice Chair Parks,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose.
Yes.
The last resolution we have today, Resolution 2020-16, approval of the PIH Administrative Notice 20-05, Administrative Flexibility. Mr. Northern could elaborate.
Yes, I'm going to allow Tiffany also to go ahead and take care of this one for us, if you don't mind, Tiffany.
No problem at all.
Thank
So
you.
in light of COVID-19, HUD has issued a PIH notice 2005, and that gives housing authorities flexibilities to be able to accommodate our clients during and our staff during the COVID-19 pandemic. It allows some flexibilities when it comes to inspections and recertifications and so forth. And so that is what, so this is basically HUD's guidance. And in order to continue those flexibilities, we do need to have board approval in addition to the PIH notice.
And just adding a little, thank you so much for that, Tiffany. Again, could those not speaking mute their mic for us? There's quite a few background noise. But just adding to that, we work really hard to deal with this crisis for both the benefit of our clients, along with, protecting our staff members. I think our leadership team members and recommendations for our staff in conjunction with the housing industry groups, recommendations from other housing authorities. Me and Dr. Henry, we had conversation after conversation after conversation, and some of what HUD is allowing us in terms of administrative flexibility, we had already started doing because we was under the crunch. And so this is good. This is a great thing that HUD and our industry groups fought for to have these special exceptions. But we're, in the forefront in terms of making some of these changes into fruition for the benefit of not only our clients, but our staff members, because we know that if our staff is not taken care of also, that we wouldn't have staff to take care of our clients. And I'm happy, that we're at this point now where we can see that HUD understood the decisions that housing authorities had to make at a local level, and they're agreeing with it also.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tiffany and Mr. Northern. Can we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll make the motion. Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Turnbull,
Yes.
Commissioner Obuchowski,
Yes.
Chairman Henry,
Yes.
Vice Chair Parks,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Moving right along, item number 6 on the agenda is the Chief Executive Officer's report.
Thank you, sir. I won't belabor the meeting by going over every item that I sent you guys. I will make a note of a couple ones that I felt was really important to the success of our organization. One is that, again, our team did an amazing job pulling ourselves together, even in the sense of a crisis. And right now, all staff members are in a healthy place, as we know, in terms of being reported to related to the crisis that we're dealing with. we've had a number of great opportunities to work together and work with other organizations to help our clients in a great way. And once everything is done and set with, we'll have a complete report for our board members, and you would probably be equally proud of how we're able to pull things together to support our clients. And even in the fact that we're still doing briefings. I attended a virtual briefing yesterday in Paris, who is in our voucher department, did an amazing job on that briefing, where we can still work with clients and help those clients receive housing even through the midst of this crisis. We have increased our unit lease up rates in both vouchers, and our goal is to continue to allow individuals to receive that housing. So HUD did provide an emergency response bill to housing authorities. Part of the emergency response bill, we will receive about close to $190,000 in admin fees, and that's fees to help our staff members, or money lost, not to help our staff members, but for money lost that's related to income, so we can pay our bills in terms of health benefits and salaries into staff. Some housing authorities, because people are not paying rent, they don't have the money in order to keep the staff on salaries and have to lay people off. So HUD did provide 2 months of admin fee to housing authorities. Our money allotted to close to $190,000. They did a lot additional HAP funding, and HAP funding is the housing assistance payments, and that's to lease up more families. We don't have a concrete number for that yet, but once we get that number, we'll make sure the commissioners and the public know about that number. But they had provided some money for that also, so that we can lease up additional clients and partner within our community with other organizations that may need help in certain types of ways. Right now it's still just a tough time overall. And really that's all that I had to report on in terms of the executive director report. Unless there's any particular questions that any of the board members may have, we can move on. We can move to some of the departmental reports.
Thank you very much, Mr. Northern. Is there anything else to add to your report, or was that all you had to say?
And that's all I had to say. I know that our staff sent out to the commissioners and be put online the updated fact sheet. Just wanted to make sure you guys to be aware of our updated fact sheet, along with our annual report, which our team did a great job on it. We're in the process of starting off and kicking off the reentry program. We had a big meeting earlier this week where we was able to discuss some concerns and help that come to fruition. We know the individuals incarcerated now are some of the highest levels of coronavirus. And so we want to, one, make sure that individuals that are released are tested, and two, that we can provide safe haven in terms of housing for those individuals, to continually be safe. So other than that, we can go into the various departmental reports. If in that case, what I ask if that, all the departments, we submitted reports to the commissioners, other than the finance report, if you have any particular questions related to the various reports, the only person in our other than the finance department head I would like to have speak is Youth Bill, and that's Lily Walton. That's the new program, and we've done so much activity, and I just want her to give us a brief update. At the end of the reports, at the end of the financial reports, I plan on talking about our employee of the month. So we wanted to just wait to the end for that before we go into our last public comment. So Lily, if you wouldn't mind taking the mic for us, please.
David, did you say there were no other comments?
I think we're waiting for Ms. Walton.
Okay.
I have no other comments. I wanted Lily to give us a brief, really brief overview of some of the activities that she has went about as related to starting our brand new program of Youth Build.
You have the floor, Ms. Walton.
Is she muted or something?
You guys hear me? Okay, I'll go ahead then. So Youthville, we hosted a community informational on March 4th. We had a really great turnout. There were a lot of different organizations that came to hear about Youthville. Right now, we are in the process of recruiting. We have about 30 students who are going to go through mental toughness for this first cohort. And we have an informational session scheduled with them on Monday. We have two, one at 11 o'clock and one at 6 o'clock p.m. And in addition to that, we included some details about the program and the schedule and the plan for everything. So if there are any questions, I can answer them or anything like that. Did I cover everything you wanted me to cover, Mr. Northern?
Yeah, did you get a lot of those students from grade school or elementary school? Because I did see a lot of posters at the grade school. Did you get any students from grade school at all? What age level is that again?
The age group is from 16 to 24, and again, those individuals currently not in school, those individuals that may have been had dropped out or been incarcerated or quit school for any other particular way, or looking to, or had graduated possibly and moving in a different direction in terms of their career, because Youthville is focused on construction-based apprenticeship program.
Yeah, because the only reason I said it because I saw a lot of postings at the grade school. I didn't know.
Okay.
What was the postings at the grade school for? Is that?
That was for Youthville. I guess was telling parents that they had to know somebody or something like that for Youthville. Must have been.
Oh, I see.
I thought they were taking student there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we put posters. We tried to make sure that flyers was put throughout our community, and I know that the population that we were seeking to serve wasn't grade schools, but some of the parents may have either known others or have kids that's older that may want to participate in it. So
that makes good sense. Was there anything else Ms. Watton wanted to add?
No, I don't have any other comments on that. Other than we're just I'm sending out as much information as I can about the program, taking referrals, have a lot of people for students. The high schools have been really receptive to the Youthville program. We've had several meetings with the high schools, all of the different community groups. So we're rolling.
Well, thank you very much.
Partnership with a lot of people in the community. How many people did you partnership with?
I have.
Did you guys partnership with anybody?
Currently, but we're still working on partnering with other groups, just on different activities or for job training, looking for employers to partner with still. So we're still working on some of those details.
We're still at the early stages of getting it started because it is the coronavirus. The Department of Labor allowed us to start with a smaller group of participants. So, because right now it'd be virtual. Just recently, I know Lily had a number of partners in the community, University of Illinois, Parkland. We met with Parkland together before this happened. Various hospitals. There's a number of people that want to come to the table and help partner to see it through. It's a little slow, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I felt Lily was the right person for this role to get it going. I mean, it's not like she's taking a position that's already been there. She's starting a whole new program, and she's been doing an excellent job at it. And so I'm just so excited to see the end results in that first cohort graduate. Will
foster kids be eligible for that program too?
Foster kids is one of our target populations. Youth aging out of foster care. So yeah, we've been working with different groups who work with those students as well.
Okay, I didn't know if foster kids were eligible for. I know you said kids that weren't in school, but I know if you said foster kids. Okay.
Is there any other discussion?
Yeah. If I may add, I know that Lily has dealt with a lot of the high school students and some of the people that she worked with, some of the students that I work with, and one of the, I guess you would say, problems that we may have with the high school students that are in the schools is that they would have to be a dropout out of high school. So we have to be very careful how that is worded and how we go about proceeding that we're not pushing kids to drop out of high school to join our program. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
So the kids in foster care would have to be out of school. They couldn't be in school in that program, correct?
Yeah, you can't be currently enrolled in a school to be in the youth build program. I think, but the insight that we have are like we're kind of in a good position right now because schools are out. We can test students right now who are failing or who are not on track to complete high school. We can test them right now and let them know before school starts next year whether or not they're, eligible to be in the program. So we can put them through mental toughness and, assess their capability to finish.
Not only that, I was wondering also about kids with behavior problems.
We've made sure to
also
communicate that, our goal is not to get you to drop out of high school, but, figure out the best program for you.
To answer,
but with kids, would kids with behavior issues be eligible for that? Behavior.
Well, to answer that question, Commissioner Turnbull, this program is a specialized program that's geared mainly for individuals that had some hardships in a sense. So behavioral is a part of it, but they have to be able to be on track and follow strict guidelines in order to be a part of this program. And that's why in most, for example, our cohorts are maybe 21, 22 kids. And we may have 50 people apply. 50 people can't go at the same time. Some people may make it and some people may not be ready. But those individuals that may not make it the first time, they can understand what we're looking for. And so maybe the next time it come around, they'll be ready for it, because there's just certain disciplines we have to have in order to make it work for our program success and have refunding. So the kids have to want to be successful. It's not just, all right, just let me come in and be a part of this. You have to want to be successful. That's why we take them through mental toughness. If they can't make it, then we don't want to waste money on a slot. Participant child don't really want it in a sense.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, well, thank you very much. All those questions were really good. And Ms. Walton, I just want to tell you that all the feedback that I've gotten about the program, the job you're doing is nothing short of superb. So keep up the good work. We'll move on to item 7 on the agenda. Approval of the financial reports from February and March cash disbursements.
Miguel will go over this with you guys. While he's preparing to go over it again, I want to just reiterate, we sent the board packet out to the commissioners on Monday with a shortened version of some of the financial information. On Tuesday, we submitted another packet of information, which was larger. And, we had our goals to really create a different type of financial package for our commissioners and community review, make it more user-friendly with pie charts and clear schedule of accounts. It's been some delay, so we do apologize about that, but Miguel's been doing a good job and his team's been working hard. I do want to credit also, when we lost our chief financial officer, we brought in a fee accountant who's been helping us move things along with Tiffany stepped up and did an amazing job of assisting also. It's funny because my undergrad is in accounting. And so, with so much work, closing and audits coming up, I even grabbed a bunch of files and started doing things and then brought back some old memories. And now I know why I don't want to be an accountant. So.
Thank you, Mr. Northern. I also want to just say before Mr. McGill gets into his report, you submitted a memo to us April 21st, 2020. I think that really outlines what we're attempting to do and move in the direction we want to move forward to. So I want to thank you for clarifying that. And I think that was excellent as well. So it's time for Mr. McGill to go ahead and give us the information he wants us to have. And then we'll entertain any questions after that. Thank you.
Thank you. So basically, what we've been doing every month is presenting the highlights of the disbursements on each month. For this meeting, we have February and March. And in February, we had a total of $215,000. So on those items, more than going to the actual page, I just want to mention that the biggest disbursements that we had where we paid MRI software around $42,000, and that's actually going to take us all the way to November the 30th for the use of the software of the licensing. That was the highest expense in February, and we also had a payment to Prospect Senior for $35,500, and this is the vacancy payment that we did as well in January, and that we will do as well in March. So this is a recurring disbursements that we've been having every month. We also have a payment to Cindy Herrera and Associates for $32,000. And basically, those were the most significant disbursements in the month of February. Moving to March, like I said again, we had a Prospect Senior. And then pretty much, I would say the amounts were pretty much scattered in several accounts. Normally, we mention what's over $20,000. The only thing that really, other than Prospect Senior, that went over that amount is our payment for health insurance, which usually is not mentioned because it is recurrent, and it's around $22,000. It was also present on February. I did not bring it up because, like I said, it's recurrent, and it's our health insurance. Those are the expenses, disbursements, that I wanted to point out.
Before we go and ask for motions for both February and March cash disbursements, I just wanted the board to know that there was a number of items in the disbursements that we had processed prior to being shut down, and we're working really hard with the various organizations or companies to get those canceled and refunded. Some checks had been sent out, and some are just sitting in the office that we have to go through voiding. But I just want to assure you that we're working hard to make sure that anything that we sent out, we get back that was not utilized in the right way. And in the sense of, for example, we were going to a youth bill required training. There was a couple of us going. We had already booked everything, had reserved hotels and booked flights. And so, through this virus epidemic, that was canceled. And so we're recouping all those funds. And so that stuff will be cleared up. I know nobody mentioned it, but I just wanted to make sure we put that out there in terms of transparency, that we're working on that. And I'm pretty sure it's a number of organizations that have to go through that procedures to recover some of those funds.
Thank you, Mr. Northern. I'm glad you clarified that, because there was one, I did notice it, and I'm glad you clarified that. One other thing I'd like you to clarify on the payment to Ms. Cindy Herrera for $32,000. Are we pretty much at the end of that contract, and what was in her contract?
Yeah,
I mean, are we about ready to? Because I think several months back, it was discussed that the contract would not be renewed, and so, but she still had some work that she was finishing up on. So could you elaborate on that?
Yes. As we talked about, when I came in a couple of years ago, and it's funny because April 1st was my second year at the Housing Authority. And, I'm just excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you. With our team, the citizens, everybody, we've been able to accomplish quite a bit. But one of the things was, to bring our skill sets and knowledge base in-house as much as we can. And so even with, earlier we talked about a couple of contracts, Commissioner Obachowski mentioned, the contract with the university. I mentioned the contract that we had with the outside complaint person. That's another contract. Now, in some cases, we won't be able to take over all the work ourselves because we're a smaller agency where we don't have a whole development department of the size of a Chicago Housing Authority. But the contract with Cindy, we decided not to renew, and that should be ending. I think the last month is coming. If it's not this month, it's next month. The contract's officially up. There's a few items on her contract, some deliverables that she's still working on as we go through these final closings with Ladd and Newton and some of these other properties. in our final MTW report. So, again, those contracts that the board had wanted eliminated, and us to bring some of that skill set in house, we have been working digitally to get that done and make that happen. And as you said, Commissioner Henry, that yes, it's ending. The contract is ending within the next month or so, and it'll be, excuse me, no more payments. All the payments that's left is based on certain deliverables that was a part of that contract.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to add to that. I think I indicated that I wanted to congratulate you on your second year anniversary. But one of the things that the task that Commissioner Rose and myself sought out going back several years when the search started for you to come in. We didn't know at the time, but this is one of the things we wanted to do was to try and bring a person in with your skill set and your high expectations for moving the agency forward, and looking at a way that we could you could bring in people that had the skill set, so that we would not have to solely rely on a consultant, because the consultant, Ms. Herrera has done a fine job, but there comes a time when you have to break away. I mean, agency, you speak well for yourself when you don't have to rely so much on an agency, on a consultant, and to have her on going for over 10 years, I just think sometimes you might want to scratch your head and say, well, what's this all about? So with you on board and with your skill set and your expertise, I think we're doing the right thing. So I just wanted to put that out there, and thank you very much.
I thank you for that, sir. But again, like I always say, it's a team effort. We all bring something to the table, and we win together and we lose together. One agency, one voice.
Okay. Is there any other questions about the financial report? Are we ready for a motion to approve?
I put out a motion to approve it.
May I have a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. May we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Turnbull,
Yes.
Commissioner Obuchowski,
Yes.
Chairman Henry,
Yes.
Vice Chair Parks,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Item number 8 would be public comments on non-agenda items only. Keep in mind what Ms. Attorney Hanson said. Floor is open for any public comments on non-agenda items.
Chairman Henry, I know that we have Jennifer Carlson from the city of Champaign that wanted to speak. If Jennifer's still with us.
Thank
Jennifer.
you. I am.
Oh, good. Thank you.
I'm still with you. Thank
you.
Yeah, the city of Champaign wants to thank the Housing Authority, specifically David and Tiffany. They participated in the city's March 10th study session on Bristol homeownership. That feels like a long time ago. That was our last live city council meeting. At that meeting, council directed staff to draft an agreement with the Housing Authority, where the city will provide gap funding to support the Good Steward lease purchase program. And that's going to provide affordable homeownership opportunities for Bristol Place residents and 58 homes. And then I also wanted to add a thank you to Lily. She did a virtual presentation to the Neighborhood Services Department last Thursday about Youth Build, and she did a really good job. Everyone was very impressed with her presentation. And the City of Champaign Neighborhood Services, when business is back to usual, we're looking forward to pursuing some partnerships with the program, maybe in the areas of internships and mentoring. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask you a question on that? With the homeownership, did you guys get the part worked out with homeownership with the tenants going past the term? Did y'all get that settled, or did you get that worked on?
Not at this time. Oh, go ahead, David.
You can go ahead, Jennifer. I mean, it's a partnership between us both, but we did get some clarity. We have some time to work through that. We're still waiting on some HUD approvals. But as far as the gist of it, everything is in line and towards making sure we can secure an opportunity for individuals that graduate past the term limits related to MTW to remain in a home if they have to go on purchasing those. But we still wait. We are still waiting on.
Do you plan on trying to extend that term for those people, or are you going to change that time limit to a longer limit so if people want to buy a home they can, and they won't go past? They can go past it.
Well, it's a graduated type program in a sense. So like if so this is how the gist of it works. If you're year one you come on a program, year 8 you supposed to graduate. You want to be a homeowner. You sign a contract saying you want to be a homeowner. So you graduate out of that MTW activity to a different MTW activity, and that's for the homeownership portion of it. And so it's a different graduation point. So those that say they don't want to buy a home, then they graduate and move on to another area or decide to get off the program or something, based on that decision. But if you gear toward purchasing a home and you agree to the guidelines related to that, you move to a different MTW program, which it leads to home ownership in that development.
So you guys didn't know you planned on before working on that term where it wouldn't interfere in people's buying homes, but you never got to it because I know we got to this epidemic. So I'm just trying to see if you guys ever addressed that. But that's fine. We probably need to do it, address it though. So if other people run into that problem, they will have that. At least we can extend that term to more years, or need to do something later on with that. But anyway, I'm gonna keep your time up too long because I know we're on the phone. All right. Thank you.
That's kind of what Jennifer spoke toward, the agreement. We have to sit down with the city and we're working on a combined agreement to see how we can pay for those additional years or unit change size and things like that. So, I always like to say I's dotted and T's crossed. So we have an I and we have a T, but they're not dotted and crossed yet. But we at a real close point of coming to fruition where we have our agreement in place and the whole plan to move forward with that. So I think both the city, the housing authority, the development partner are all on the same page to make that, a reality of homeownership come to fruition for those individuals in that development.
Okay, then.
Okay, thank you very much for all the different responses. Moving right along, I was wondering, is there any reason for a closed session?
I think we're gonna be on a call another 4 hours in closed session and go over. No, there's no closed session. I have to make everybody laugh. It's a crazy time. So no, we don't have any closed session. We had a couple items that we had wanted to discuss. Those items, we decided to table it for now and discuss them later. I just asked that, remember, commissioners, please remember that the closed session items and that we discussed are private. I know you guys remember that, but some of it had to do with real estate and it's very sensitive. So please don't, share that with anybody outside of our housing authority in terms of information wise, please.
Okay, I would just like to say one other thing. First of all, this is my second virtual meeting this week. I had one earlier, I think it was Tuesday. Mr. Northern was on that one. That was with the Illinois NIRO conference that was canceled this month, as a matter of fact, this week. And we discussed some of the similar issues that we've discussed today. And the other comment I wanted to make, that since this is the first virtual conference that we've had as a board, I want to congratulate everybody for dialing in or being on your tablet. I think this was a superb effort on everybody's part. Appreciate all the contributions and comments that everybody made, and this was a great collective effort on all of our parts. And I just wanted to give all of you, even the people that are in attendance that dialed in, kudos to all. And if there's no further comments, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move that.
To adjourn.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second at 4:05 we have adjourned.